Cast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, hello everyone. This is Brian Sachs, and I want to thank you so much for joining us today. You know, we're in a really interesting market, and this is all about how to list and sell more homes using the special renovation program. Got to be honest, at Homebridge, we are the number one renovation company. We're the number one renovation lender in the United States. So before we go any further, I just want to make sure everybody's able to see my screen and can hear me. If you would be kind enough to just type into the box, the question box, that you can see and hear me. You can see the screen. Anybody? I see we have Candace and Dan and Karen and Ray and Tamala, and I see more and more people popping in here. So can everybody see the screen and everybody can hear me? All right, that sounds good. So you might want to just take a second, grab a pen, grab some paper, because we're going to run through this and really share with you, again, as this says, how to list and sell more homes. That's what this is all about. So, you know, this is a perfect graphic. You know, I'm sure we've all seen this. This has been around for a while, but this is how you see your house. This is how your buyer sees your house. This is how the appraiser sees the property. This is how the bank sees it, the inspector, and of course the tax assessor is going to see it as a palatial estate. So, you know, we're in a market right now where in almost all parts of the country, there are more buyers than there are homes for sale. And I'm going to share with you during this presentation some very interesting statistics. You know, as you see here, way more buyers than there are homes for sale. And you know, there are also, it's a lot of older inventory, as you're going to see very soon from some of the surveys that we have taken. So there are basically three different types of renovation loans. There's a Fannie Mae Homestyle loan, an FHA 203K loan, and something that is proprietary to Homebridge. We're offering a renovation program with VA loans. Which means, think about this for a second. A veteran can get into a home, no money down, seller paid closing costs, and borrow the money for a renovation at an attractive single-digit interest rate. I mean, that's crazy, right? It's a good thing because these people put their lives on the line for our country. So I want you all to type in the box. Just amuse me. My wife says this all the time. Many of my friends say it all the time, but I want us all to be in the right frame of mind. So let's all take a second and say it to yourself and type it in the box. I love ugly. I'll give you a second to let your fingers do the walking. Tamala, Dan, Fred, Tamala loves ugly. How about you, Fred? How about you, Candace? How about Karen? All right. So we got a bunch of people loving ugly. And I'm really thrilled to hear that because that's where the opportunity is, folks. That's the opportunity in this market for you as a realtor to buy, to sell, to list, and it's tremendous. So who are we? My name is Brian Sachs. I've been in the industry for God, I don't even want, I'm embarrassed to say it. I've been in the industry 36 years and probably closed several $billion worth of loans, clearly close to 8,000 transactions. This is my associate, Dan Altman, who's a mortgage originator on the Brian Sachs team, and we're together here today presenting this to you so that we can assist you. You know, our relationship with you as an agent is really as a partner. We want to help you, you help us, we work together as a team, and that's really the way it should be. So I'm going to share with you what we're going to share with you. Why renovation loans can help you sell more of your listings faster. You know, as a loan officer, we hear agents use this brush off all the time. Oh, we're just listing agents. Well, great. If you're just a listing agent, pay special attention because you'll be able to sell more of your listings faster and for more money. If you are an agent who works with buyers too, great, because you're in a very, very tight market and this will help you sell more homes. And if you're an investor or work with investors, I'm going to share with you a program that will allow an investor to buy a home without needing hard money. So we all ready? Type yes or no in the box so I know you're with me and we'll get moving along here. All right, Dan's with me. Beautiful. All right. Fred wants to know, Brian, can you only lend in Maryland? No, I can lend in Maryland, New Jersey, D.C., Pennsylvania, Florida, but our company is actually national. So if I can't help you personally, we can certainly refer you to someone internally that can. So I want to share with you some renovation success stories. One of my agents, Constance Lewis, she is with Keller Williams. She sold 2 homes in an area of Maryland called Randallstown. Both were properties that were really in bad shape. I mean, but the homes themselves were in great neighborhoods, and you couldn't even sort of rebuild a home like this. They were stone, beautiful homes. One buyer bought for 170, one buyer bought for 180. We lent them the money to renovate it, and both of those homes came in at 250. So think about this. These buyers who did not have perfect credit bought the home, single-digit interest rates, got the money to renovate the property, and they walked in with equity. So, if you have buyers you're thinking that are going to a builder, why go to a builder? The real opportunity is buying a home that needs a little bit of TLC in an area that is phenomenal. And this is the opportunity to do it. Dossie Lazar, who's with Pickwick Realty, we just did a loan for her. Actually did 2 renovation loans for her, one conventional, one FHA. The FHA one we did, these people bought the property for $350. They put $150 in it, and the house appraised over $600. So while we did this FHA, we're now able to go back and refinance them conventionally and get rid of their mortgage insurance. I mean, how's that for beautiful? Tell me if you're loving this so far. I mean, I'm telling you. Andreas M. from Frederick, she settled about 3 months ago. She bought a townhome in Frederick. It was probably one of the first homes built in Frederick, and it was a disaster. And after renovations, her home appraised for over $200,000 more than she paid for the property and the renovations. And guess what? She had to do extensive renovations, and we were able to actually finance 6 months worth of her mortgage payment because she can't live there during the construction. It's that extensive. And then there's Aston Woolery, and Aston's in PG County, and he's a great, great guy. And actually, Aston signed up for this call. I don't know if he's on or not. He did sign up for this training. But let me tell you about him. Aston sold the property using the Teacher Next Door program. This buyer bought a property in PG County. You ready? I hope you're all sitting down because this is truly amazing. She bought the property for $185,000, and we got her into that property all told. We gave her the money to buy it. She bought it for 50 cents on the dollar. $185,000 house she got for half price, okay, for $95,000. And she was able to finance all of the renovation. And do you know how much she came up with out of pocket? Any guesses? Anybody want to type in a guess? So Dan says 0. Tamala says 0. Well, it's darn close to 0. Michael says 2,000. Is that 2,000 or 20,000? 20,000, Michael says. She got in, you ready? With $100 using the Teacher Next Door program. So there is the police officer next door. There's a teacher next door. There are all of these opportunities, folks, and I am sharing this with you, as is Dan, so that you can sell more homes and you can list more homes. So let's talk about the National Association of Realtors annual survey. So 57 million Americans, or 18% of the population, live in multi-generational family households. That's double from 30 years ago. The typical home was 1,870 square feet, built in 93, with 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. Home buyers who bought previously owned homes purchased their home for a better price and overall value and charm. They like the character of the neighborhood. Here are places where people will compromise. And if you've been out selling homes, you know this, right? The highest amount of compromise is the size of home, price of home, condition of home, lot size, style of home, quality of neighborhood. So what we're talking about here is where people will compromise and where they won't. And the reality is people want to live in a great neighborhood. They're looking at the schools. Look at this. Buyers expect to live in a home for 12 years. Just 11 years ago, that number was 6. 53% of buyers said finding the right home was the most difficult step in the home buying process. You know the old adage in real estate, right? It's location, location, location. But we are dealing with an older inventory. People want to personalize and customize the right home for them in the location they desire, and that reduces their stress and actually reduces your stress, right, of finding them the right home. So what is renovation financing? Okay, it's home financing with all the fixings. We're going to give you the money to purchase or refinance, but we're talking right now about a purchase. Money to buy the property, money to renovate the property, all in one loan. The appraisal will be based on the improved property, subject to the improvements. So, as you'll see soon, to say that very simply, we're going to appraise the property. You're going to tell us what renovations you're going to make. We'll approve those. And once we know that, the appraiser is going to appraise the property based on what it's worth after those improvements happen. So, look, we all know there's a tremendous amount of inventory out there that's in need of repairs, that is being sold as is. 1 in 337 homes in Maryland are in foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, or short sale. And this is staggering, folks. 82% of homes are at least 20 years old. And some of them probably need some deferred maintenance, right? Credit market inventory. Sellers do not want to or cannot pay for repairs, but they want top dollar for the property, don't they, right? Buyers do not have the cash after closing to fix up the home. Inventory is actually lacking. But think about this, for every 10,000, it's about $50 or $55 added to a mortgage. So the money is still very, very cheap. For a buyer, we have to change the mindset, right? A buyer, there's a world of difference once a buyer starts looking at property for what it could be instead of what it is right now. You want to help your buyers vision and look at what this potential is, this great property in a great neighborhood that's just not quite there or needs a little bit of tender loving care. Sellers, okay, you need to change their mindset. The days of having to spend money out of pocket to make a home more marketable, you don't need them to do that. Let your sellers know there are other options. They can sell this property with a renovation loan. And by the way, and I'm going to share it with you again, with FHA, you actually even have a 10% leeway. So if you have a property that you think might underappraise and it needs some work and the seller's got no money and wants top dollar, wow, you got a real opportunity there to sell that property with a 203K loan. The benefit for you, why should you pay attention, right? Well, you can now differentiate yourself from all the competitors. It's very competitive out there. You know that. You could take more listings with properties that have challenges. Sell more homes as is, which means a faster sale. Increase your pool of buyers. Reduce listing time on the market. Quicker decision for buyers. Provide a solution to distressed sellers who don't have the funds to make additional improvements, especially people doing a short sale, right? People are doing a short sale or they had a foreclosure. It's not likely they decide to take care of the property, right? Convert more homes with potential into closed deals. And the best news for you as a realtor is no work for you to do after closing. We handle all that. So let's talk about the programs. There's the FHA 203K, We're going to talk a little more about that. There is the HUD $100 down payment program with a 203K. This is a phenomenal program. Again, with all of these programs, you don't have to have perfect credit. But think about this, buying a home, getting into that home for 50 cents on the dollar generally, being able to finance the improvements and renovations. I tell my buyers, hey, if you love ugly the way my wife does, right, you're going to be able to buy this house. You pick out the carpet, you pick out the appliances, you pick out the color you want painted. You can put on a roof, you can put on a deck, you can choose the cabinets, and it's all in one loan. What a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay, so here are the repairs: cosmetic, structural, foundations, roof. It really pretty much covers soup to nuts: decks, driveways, kitchens. I actually had a home in Pikesville where it was a small Cape Cod and it was 1,800 square feet. We did a renovation loan. They added on another section of the house, another 1,200 square feet, all in one loan. What a beautiful situation. So here's the loan process. What we want them to do first, we want your buyers to obviously come to us and get pre-approved. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but you shouldn't even be taking buyers out unless they're pre-approved. You find them a property, okay? They make an offer. Contract gets ratified. Now, we can't order an appraisal until they have chosen a contractor and secured the bids. But folks, I'm going to tell you, we are the #1 lender in the United States for renovation loans for a reason, because we make the process very, very seamless. And we can generally get these loans closed in 60 days as long as you're able to secure that contract with the contractor right up front. Once you settle, the work begins and away you go. Generally with inspections, if your buyer is fairly new, we have some consultants that we would suggest you speak to. If you're doing an FHA 203K or some of the conventional programs that have extensive work, there is a list of 203K consultants you can speak to. And basically what they will do is they will walk through, they do charge, of course, right? But what they will do is walk through this with the property with you. They will tell you certain things that have to be done, certain things that are optional. They will even coordinate for you getting contractor bids. So, you just want to make sure that we're not over improving. So that's the job of the HUD consultant. The good news is, when I know some of you may have been a little concerned when I said you pay for it or your buyer pays for it, but the reality is most of the time this can replace the home inspector. If you still want to get a home inspector, certainly that's optional, but this person really acts sort of as your quarterback. You need to get a licensed contractor. Now, we do not recommend contractors, but anyone that is a licensed contractor is acceptable to us. We need to see their bid. So let me answer some quick questions, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about the FHA, the VA, and the conventional programs, and even how to have this happen with investors. So how's the appraisal work? Again, the appraisal is going to be based on the property in its current state and the repairs. So they're going to give us an after repair value. So let's talk about that. Let's say the house is $100,000. You're putting in 20 in repairs. So we want that house to appraise for 120, right? Now, the beauty here, again, if you have a property that you think may not appraise, you want to sell this with an FHA 203K loan, because we can use 110%. You have a 10% cushion, 110% of the after improved value. That's a big deal. So let's talk about the conventional loan. The Fannie Mae home style loan, it's up to the county limits for that jurisdiction. It's for primary homes and investment properties. that we can lend you with a homeowner, not an investor, right? We can lend up to 95%. If it's an investor, we can do up to an 80% loan to value. So think about that. You can buy the house, put 20% down, and finance the renovations to that property and not have to pay 15% and 8 points, right? Uh, Again, the appraisal will be after improved value. Condos are acceptable. Luxury items, you can put in pools, decks, kitchens, bulkheads. Really just a beautiful situation. And if it's the type of repairs where the buyer can't live there, we can finance, if there's enough room in here, we can finance up to 5 of the mortgage payments. So think about it. I mean, what a great way for an investor to purchase a property. Let's talk about the FHA loan. FHA, again, we can close these in 60 days. There are 2 different types of FHA renovation. So again, you don't have to worry about as is. You don't have to worry about low appraisals. You got cushion. Um, Now, here's just an example. So if you're at 136, that house, you really have, again, that whole 10% margin, as a comfort level. Because I know many homes right now are pushing the envelope, so to speak, right? So what are eligible repairs? Roofing, heating, cooling, kitchen, windows, doors, flooring, mold and lead paint removal. That's a big one in Baltimore. Basement remodeling, room additions, cabinets. I mean, I have a lady right now that we did a loan for. She was concerned that she wouldn't have enough money for redoing the kitchen and appliances and painting. She's doing a 203K loan. Perfect, right? We hope the average renovation, if it's not an extensive renovation, should be done within 90 days. Home sellers can now market their home based on the quality of the neighborhoods and all the other factors that go into it and still be okay, right? So for the borrower, the beauty here, one single loan, not a construction to perm. They don't have to worry about getting an equity line that might fluctuate afterwards. There's no additional cash investment. They can customize their home and build equity. Honestly, I can't guarantee this, but I can tell you that the majority of these loans that I've done, these buyers are walking in with equity. For the seller, more potential buyers, faster sale, and higher proceeds. For you, my friends, sell more listings with satisfied buyers. Make more commission income and rewarded with more referrals. I mean, really, you need to think about this product. So you need a team. The team is a realtor, a lender, a HUD consultant, and a contractor. And, we're happy to promote these at home buyer seminars, town hall meetings, community associations, home shows. You tell me, and I'll be there. I'm more than happy to help you. Myself or a member of my team will absolutely be there to help you. So there is a limited and a standard FHA loan. The difference is, okay, they're all now for FHA, it has to be a primary residence. The good news is you can do a 203K credit score as low as 600. Might even be able to go lower than that in some cases with some overlays. So the limited is intended to help facilitate uncomplicated improvements. It's up to $35,000. The standard is designed for more complicated projects where you're doing stuff that is structural, or if the property doesn't have utilities turned on. So with the limited, again, it's up to $35,000. You do not need the HUD consultant, although I always suggest it. And it's usually for like 2 draws, okay? What are typical repairs for a limited? I mean, here you go. These are the types of repairs. They're, cosmetic mostly in nature. Ineligible repairs are going to be room additions, new constructions, anything that's going to require structural or architectural drawings, or anything that's going to prohibit the borrower from moving into the property 15 days after closing. So, one's just touching up ugly and the other's completely changing. The minimum cost on a 203K loan is $5,000, okay? On a standard 203K, I mean, I have people doing additions and moving walls and tearing things down and putting on decks and all sorts of major things. So let's talk about something really special. This is a program that is proprietary right now to Homebridge. Now, a veteran can buy a home, put no money down, and finance the improvements. Again, unbelievable. It's 100% financing, and we're going right by the VA guidelines. And veterans don't have to have perfect credit, folks. They can be around 600 with us, and still have an opportunity to be approved. Again, we with all of these loans, FHA, VA, or conventional, they are going to have a contingency. So they're going to hold some money in reserve because, anytime you're doing new construction, things can happen, right? You tear out a wall and you don't know what you're going to find. You tear up a carpet, you don't know what you're going to find. So if it's just the standard or cosmetic, renovations, we hold 10%. If the utilities are not on, we will hold 15%. So here's what happens. After all the dust settles, right? The work is done, the inspections have been made, and contractors been paid. If there is any money left in reserve, it will be put right on and credited to the buyer's loan balance. Okay, so here's an example for you. So, again, we are going to allow this veteran no money down, buy the home, renovate the home, and we want those no structural repairs, and we want those repairs to be completed in 90 days, and we want that veteran to be able to move into the property within 15 days. So, think repair, replace, upgrade, not construct or build. Okay? So here's the process. Again, I want you all to understand this. The borrower is pre-approved. That really should be step one no matter what kind of loan program. The real estate agent, that's you, right? You find the right home for the right buyer in the right location. You write the contract. We make mortgage application. They select a licensed and insured contractor. We get their contract with their bid, scope of work, the appraisals ordered. Once the appraisal's ordered, we can issue a final loan approval, and then you go to settlement. And that's it. And then you and I start asking for referrals, and our job is over. Okay? Our team will then, our renovation concierge team will then work with the contractors and the buyer and make sure everything gets facilitated properly. So again, we can close these loans very, very quickly. All right. So there you go. Once you close, the renovation begins. It's going to be on a specific draw schedule. Once the work's done, we're going to order the inspections and a final. Once everything's done, we're going to release the funds to the borrower and the contractor, and any unused funds like that contingency is going to be put right back onto the buyer's principal balance. So, look, you know what? It's all about you having another tool in your tool chest, especially in a market like this where ugly homes are sitting on the market and homes that are beautiful. Man, it's like a bidding war. I can't tell you how many contracts I had out just last weekend. Only a fraction of them got approved, but all those buyers want to buy. So let me answer some frequently asked questions, and then I'll take some of your questions. Rates. Let's know this up front. Rates are slightly higher on these type of loans because there's a little bit more involved. Generally, we can close them in 45 to 60 days. If you're selling a property that's as is, most listing agents are aware, and certainly they could call myself or Dan, and we'll be happy to explain the program to them. But an as-is home should be able to go FHA 203K or VA Reno or home style. Occupancy for FHA and VA is primary only. For conventional, it's a primary, a second home, or an investment property. And of course, it's all going to be you telling us what the home should appraise for up front so we know the extent of the work. Who chooses the contractor? The buyer. Can the buyer do some of their own work? This is probably the only question on here. I'm going to say maybe, if they are licensed. What happens to unused funds? We talked about gets applied right to the principal. Can the contractor be paid before work is completed? Generally, absolutely not, because we don't want that contractor to disappear, right? So you can't really just have Joe the handyman with a pickup truck. You really want to find a contractor that is substantial and confront the funds knowing for sure that they will get paid. The work can begin within 30 days after closing, and on the extensive ones, we'd like them completed within 6 months, or for the regular at VA or limited 203K, really the work should be done in 90 days. When do payments start? Well, payments are actually due just like a normal loan. And however, if there may be situations where we could finance up to 6 months on an FHA and up to 5 months on a conventional loan. Are FHA inspectors required? Yes. How is the contractor approved? We're going to validate, make sure that they're okay, but we start with someone who is licensed, okay? What if the buyer does not want to include the renovations in their loan? They don't have to. They can increase their down payment. What if the work costs more than the bid? Well, then the buyer may have to come out of pocket. That could be a problem. Does this apply to refinancing? Yes, we can do these as a refinance. So Fred has a question. Do you have to use one general contractor? Can the buyer hire individuals or subs? Generally, we want one general, and the general is going to be responsible. Does VA have a renovation loan? VA renovation loan? No, there is no such thing. I don't want you, talking to people and go, oh, I just heard about that new VA renovation loan. That is a program proprietary to Homebridge. What if utilities can't be turned on? Then we're going to handle a 15% contingency fund. I don't want to go too deep into this, folks, but I think you all get a sense of it. Look, the reality is you are realtors, we are lenders, and we are and want to continue to be your partner, and we will do whatever we can to make that happen, okay? There are ways to get this word out there with social media. We have flyers. If any of you would like to join us and work together, we would be thrilled to do that. And we could actually have these flyers customized, as you see here. This is Linda Jones. We can have any of these flyers customized with your information. So Tamala's asking, does Homebridge Wholesale have this VA Reno product? I don't know, Tamala. You'd have to ask your wholesale rep. I'm on the retail side, so honestly, I don't know the answer. But you want to ask your wholesale rep about it. Tell them you were on this training and tell them you loved it. So we will help you with marketing materials. If you have a group you want us to come to your office and talk about this, we're happy to do it. If you want social media posts on this, we can do that as well. So, I'm trying to be sensitive. I know we're all busy, and truly I'm swamped as well. I hope all of you got a little tidbit. Look, I'm not expecting you to learn everything there is about renovation loans in a 30-minute training. But know that there are tools out there that will help you sell more homes, help you list more homes, help you work with more buyers. And if you would be kind enough just to amuse me, I want all of you to say and type in the box right now how much you enjoyed ugly. Say, I loved ugly. All together now. Let those fingers do the walking and tell me how much you loved ugly. So Tamala loved ugly. Who else? Fred loves ugly. Dan loves ugly. I've already told you my wife loves ugly. So Dan loves ugly. Who else? How about you, Michael? How about you, Karen? Do you guys love ugly? How about you, Kelly? Hey, Kelly, how are you? All right, Michael loves ugly. Who else? I see a bunch more people here. What's my phone number? My phone number will be on the next slide. Here's my email address. And you can call myself or Dan. And here is our phone number. I truly thank you, each and every one of you, for being here. If you have questions or you'd like marketing materials branded with your information, or you would like us to come speak about the program, or if you have a buyer that you would like to talk to us about, we're happy to help you. I'm thrilled everyone came, and thank you for spending the 30 minutes with me today, and thank you for your attention. Have a great day, and remember, ugly is the new beautiful.